Hi, this is Joe Chambers. Welcome to Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage. Today's clip was shot back in February of 2019. My friend Mike Lawson called up and said that he wanted to bring Mick Fleetwood over. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, Fleetwood Mac is playing in town. Mick wants to come by the museum and see an exhibit we had just put up that Mike helped me with Bob Welch, who was the next member of Fleetwood Mac and also did a fine solo career." I had planned to have J.I. Allison come over and shoot an interview as well, except we were doing the very first Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage show, and J.I. was going to be the first guest. We're good friends. I felt more comfortable with J.I. And so we actually did it in this room. This is the green room. The governor was here doing a big dinner out front. It was 400 people. We couldn't do it on our guitar wall stage out front, so Mick came in, we showed him Bob Welch's exhibit. I said, "Hey, got one more thing I'd like for you to see." And so we took a couple of detours down the hallway, came in here, and surprised Mick. You can kind of tell that he didn't really know what was happening, but it was a really great exchange between two great drummers and two fans of each other. I hope you enjoy it. Once again, J.I. Allison and Mick Fleetwood. If you do, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content.
You know, and you're so right in there, and just that whole sensibility of just less is more, thing, which so suited me.
Oh, man.
'Cause I'm never a huge technician ever, really, but the old, just the whole way that was. It was really amazing looking back on it, because one of the things that it was accessible for like a drummer. You could go like, okay, you could do it on your hand thing, and then you found out that less is more is actually in its own way beautifully complicated, because if you mess with it, you screw it up.
Oh, yeah,
Which is like later on for blues playing, it was so important. Like Peter Green, who formed Fleetwood Mac, John McVie, he would literally be on his knees, the bass player in Fleetwood Mac, if he was standing here with me. Is that it was so useful, and that the connect from hearing you guys and some great players around that period, was that it was so straight ahead, but it got to the point, and it had, which unusual, because some of the stuff was sort of a little flippant, early rock and roll, but with you guys, there was a really heartfelt, it was passionate, and it was connected to something that, as we know, it was more than meaningful, which played so well for us as young blues musicians, just aspiring. But we already had like a little bit of, and I'm looking at it, a kickstart, and I'm realizing there's a definite connect with, you can't mess around and show off playing blues. A lot of people sort of did, and some of it was fun, and it mutated into something different. We were, in our own little way, trying to just emulate as best as we could. And I think I know some of the early lessons was prior to listening to blues and getting turned on, would be this golden nugget here. It's unbelievable.
Well, I tell you what,
and thank you.
You play just right.
Well, I try to.
I've never heard you overdo it.
No, well, sometimes
you can't help
after a bottle of wine or two, but
Oh, yeah.
but it's very important, and Peter, who started Fleetwood Mac, was so about that, and he drew me into really listening, as did John, early blues, and of course some friends of mine even before that, where you were the heroes, amongst some others, but it was really profoundly. I mean, I know, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but you go to anyone like Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Paul McCartney. I mean, you can go on forever as to where they drew, you know, all things you've heard before, and I'm just somewhere in the queue with musicians that I know.
That's too nice.
No, but hey, it's always lovely. You know, in our world we get some of that too, but there's always a connect to where it comes from, and what you aspire, and you don't really. Now I'm just talking about something that you don't go around thinking it every 5 minutes, but this is all like converging as to what was that and what could that have been. And I'm you're right, I often cite from whence, as you know, many musicians, period, but in England, profound influence on everything that happened afterwards. And
thank you
know,
so much. That's so nice.
You must have met Paul from the Beatles. And
yeah, he told me one time it wasn't for the Crickets, there wouldn't be any Beatles, which was
well,
a
there
nice
you go.
compliment.
Well, that's what Keith Richards said. When
I
he
got
came
you
back
to say it because that's exactly what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
Paul's been right. He produced a song with us one time and played piano, and he said, "Sing this part for harmony." And I said, "Man, you have not heard me sing, obviously." So he sang it. Yeah, he's been nice to us, and
He bought you publishing, didn't he?
it wasn't mine.
Well, you co-wrote Peggy Sue, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he bought Norman Petty's.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Norman had it.
It's
Yeah.
a sore spot.
But he did
about
though.
Joe B. Malden, played bass with us.
Okay.
He sometimes it would be, Buddy would say, "Okay, put your hand here for this record. Put your hand there, there, and there." And Joe B. would do it just like he said. But he was never too busy.
Correct.
And I listened to those old records, and I said, "Man, if we've had other bass players in the meantime that play
Yeah.
lead bass,
Yeah.
and say, man, where's Joe B?"
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there you go. It's I'm blessed in Fleetwood Mac. Not only a dear friend, but John and I have been there since the beginning, since '67. So our story is I can't even imagine playing with anyone else
Yeah, that's
because he's so on in the right place at the right time, and then you as old partnerships, I play with other people, but it's never John, and that's the magic of these stories of even I dare say for sure the Beatles, and no matter what happened and transpired and things went their different ways here and there, you listen to those early records and you go, unbelievable, and unbelievable stuff, and I've sort of had a couple of major times with Fleetwood Mac. It was the original band was very much with Peter Green, the guitar player, and wrote Black Magic Woman and Oh Well and all those funky songs, and then took a left turn, and we were adrift, like it was like a major loss, and we managed to survive. But that feeling of when something is really right, it's not that you want to sit in judgment, but it is something you just quietly know. Me and Peter used to call it, but is it it? Is it it? And very quickly you have to you have how you make it, and then you have to preface it that it's not an elitist sort of holier than thou thing, but it's sort of any way you look at it is true, and then you're always sort of looking how things would go, and that would be a template with all, especially for me and John, would be, for instance, like Bob Welch. I'm here honouring Bob, who was a member of Fleetwood Mac for many years. It's like he was nothing like Peter Green, but he had it. He had his secret ingredient, and that's been the story of Fleetwood Mac, which is very varied. There's been 18, and now with a recent change, Mike Campbell from Tom Petty's band, his band with Tom Petty, has joined Fleetwood Mac, and a very talented singer, guitar player from New Zealand, Neil Finn, was in a band called Crowded House, but the blessing was that I always had like a standard that Peter taught me, I think, a little bit, I hope, and John, is that we got some really great people that had the ingredient. They didn't have to be the same, but
yeah, I'm just in awe that you, because I know how it is to keep a band together, especially being the drummer. It's kind of hard.
yeah, yeah.
And you never suffered from lead vocalist syndrome.
No.
But you've done it, and I did it. Had a band for years and had
Of
some different
course.
people. I was never had it together as good as you, obviously. We played some good gigs, and we played a lot of corn palaces
Yeah.
in England.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you've been successful all the way through, man.
Well,
Great.
there's been some moments when it drifted away, but it's just the basic premise is that there were moments when lifestyle took over a bit, and you sort of forgot about I'm a drummer. That's what I do, and that was always a saving grace. I remember sitting years back when life was a party, and
Oh, man.
and I was sitting at Ringo's house, who I knew a little bit back in the day, and he suddenly turned around because I was fairly active and with Fleetwood Mac, and he said, "What am I doing?" He's enjoying life, and well, God knows, one of the Beatles. He said, "Mick, it suddenly dawned on me, I don't have a drum kit in my house. And it's not like I can't afford one or a room to put it in."
Oh, he just called and let me
No,
brought him
and
one in an
I don't
hour.
think that was the catalyst, and I'm not leading there at all. But it dawned on me. He said, "What am I doing? Why am I not playing?" And then before too very long, in some shape or form, he put his all-star band together, which I'm sure had nothing to do with our conversation. But it was like, I've had a couple of moments when I did go like, I haven't played enough, and even when I'm off the road, I play I live in Hawaii and I have a band there, and I happen to have a little restaurant, so I get to play
Oh, great.
whether they like it or not, But it's all good. It's such a pleasure
It's
to be
fantastic.
meeting and talking to you.
Oh,
It is
it's mine.
unbelievable pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We must exchange numbers and things because
Oh, yeah, I'd love to.
when I'm in England, I'm intending to go and see Peter, and he would just love to know. I'll show him some pictures.
Oh,
and
great.
he's sort of slowed down quite a lot, but he would love that. And of course, John this afternoon is going to be full of regret that he wasn't here.
Do you know, I just thought about this because David Trask, remember him?
I do.
He was a roadie.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Anyway, he was a roadie when I played with Waylon Jennings.
Wow.
He was a roadie for Waylon, and he's always told me how much fun you guys were.
Oh yeah, a little bit too much fun, I think.
I think so. I've had too much fun.